What's going on, traders? Hope everybody had a fantastic day. It is Thursday, May 25th, and we are looking, of course, at the S&P 500, the Spider ETF. Markets were up today, green, 0.87%. Final print was 414.65, and we are going to get into the charts here, but of course this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. And if you're liking the content that I am providing about the markets, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments, what do you think, we're going higher, lower from here? I'd love to hear your thoughts on the market as well. And don't forget to smash that like button, really helps out the channel, and subscribe, or excuse me, I said that, hit the notification bell so that way you are alerted when we do post new updates. All right, so as we were saying, markets were up today. Very nice bull reaction after that squeeze yesterday at the end of the day. We basically, went over the price action on Wednesday, excuse me, how we came in here to that trend line, bounced back up. And we were talking about the 412 area, and we'll go into the fibs here in a minute. I was talking about having that bullish bias coming into today, since we did recapture the key levels. We were back over VOPC. We were back over the 50% retracement, right, at 412.30. Okay, and we gave ourselves a little zone, 412.30 to 412. I said, if that is holding, I'll maintain my bullish bias for the day. And we did kind of basically, we sold very nicely. We were rallying up in Globex and futures, and we did see some selling in the morning. Some profit taking, but then we came right into that big area, right, 412, and then we shifted higher into the close, and then we just kind of consolidated. Power hour was a little uneventful, but we certainly had a nice move towards the end of the day, which we will get into. But we were talking here on the daily, right, that it was possible that we pop up. We didn't quite get to that value area high, okay, and that was at 416.66. The high today was 416.16. So we didn't quite get there, but I do know we were talking about, and let's just see how it played out. We were looking at the 180-day 12-hour chart. This thing wants to cooperate here. Okay, come on. Wow. You know what? Let me close this. Okay, there we go. Okay, yeah, we were talking about this potential short idea. I'd mentioned a direct short that possibly could work out, and it did in a sense here. It might be better. I think it probably worked better, or would work maybe better for a potential swing trade. But we did come into that value area high. Moving averages did slope down a little bit. I know they were a little bit higher yesterday, but with today's price action, they did adjust. But you can see here, we did come into the value area highs. We broke slightly above it, but couldn't close, and then price was pushed back down. So we're going to have to see. This chart here, from this view is looking pretty interesting. Is it an inverted head and shoulders? Certainly we could make that case. Or are we coming up, and now we're going to probably have the potential to make an H pattern, right? Come up, start to roll over, and come back down, and maybe actually retest this trend line again. maybe we don't get that far. Maybe we just come back into value area lows, right? Right. Right into the POC here around 410.80 zone, and then we bounce up from there. We'll have to see, or we break through. If we do break that 411.30 area, I guess, yeah, 411. We'd be looking for a retest of this trend line here as well. Of course, we do have to be mindful. Still, debt ceiling stuff. Circling. We've got, I think, till June 1st till they work that out. We do have Memorial Day on the 29th, so that is something that we should note. A lot of people probably are taking off tomorrow, so we could have lower volume coming into the markets ahead of the long weekend, which also can lead to more complex and tricky price action. So let's just be aware of that as well and protect our profits from the week. And yeah, so we'll have to see if this starts to roll over or we are able to hold here. Again, still for me, that 412 area is going to be a big pivot zone for my bias. And, at least as far as on the daily is concerned, and let's go back here, we did close back above the 9 and the 20, those short-term moving averages. But the chart, here on the daily at least, looks pretty ugly. We did fill the gap that we created on Wednesday. So that was worked out. Okay, you can see we did fill the gap here, and you can kind of see that potential inverted head and shoulders, at least from this view. But it is kind of ugly looking. We could be also making a J pattern here, right? But again, with value area highs right here, it's going to be very tricky. Yeah, certainly we can break above and we can stay above, as you saw up here again, but that's when things get a little bit dicey for me. So, do I think that it's a good time to start a long position to swing? No, not really, just because of the risk to reward right now isn't that favorable. Can we possibly come right back up into the 420, 423 area? Yes, it is possible. But then that's $10 or $9 or something like that, whatever. And which is decent, for sure. But I just would rather wait, certainly until after the debt ceiling kind of works itself out. Because we could get news at any moment about that, and it could either rip the market or sell the market. So we'll have to see and keep an eye on that. But chart, like I said, kind of curling up here. Now we do have our low and a higher low being put in on the daily. So structurally speaking, that is a positive sign, as it is trying to create a new uptrend, right? So if we go in here, come on. Start to create this uptrend or downtrend. Alright, we did break over just barely. It's just hanging out, right? Right on the line. So we really can't, make a decision one way or the other right now as far as, if this confirms. Let's see how Friday closes, the week closes. If we close above this downtrend, okay, then we're going to have a little bit more to say, at least as far as structurally is concerned. But you can see the low and the higher low being put in. So let's just see if Friday's candle closes over, and then we can kind of have a little bit more of a roadmap on what to potentially expect. All right, I'm going to take this trend off for now. I don't think there's too much to look at on the main fibs. Let's just take a look. Yeah, not too much to talk about here. Still in the range, that's fine. Certainly the more safer trade, if we're going to ignore the volume profile, which, you know, I don't think we should, but the safer trade, you know, for any type of a long would be if we broke back over this 416, right? That could propel us higher for sure. Probably look to back to that 418 at that point, getting some closes and getting back over 416, maybe with an hourly candle close. Then we can start to look to target that 418 area, and then to come back into these highs around that 420 after that. But we start to break back below again the that POC here. All right, then I'll be looking, and that is at 411.63. We start to break below. Okay, now we can start, and I'm, you know, of course we're under that 412 level at that point. That's the extra confirmation. So under 412, under 411.63. All right, then we're going to be looking for the test of these swing lows again, and then potentially a test if we break the 409.55 area. We'll be looking for a test back down into the bottom of this range that we have been trading in. All right, so let's just go a little bit over the price action today. Not going to get too much into it, but we're going to start with the fibs first, I guess. Okay, that's fine. That was just wow, come on, baby. This really is acting funny today and lagging. I apologize about that. Come on, load up. There we go. All right. So, what were we talking about yesterday, right? We had come in, retested this downtrend, right? Remember, we extended this, retested 618 extension, fake breaks, sellers getting absorbed. We went over this in the last video. Pushed back up. Obviously, we talked about NVIDIA helping drive, propelled this move. But really, the main thing was recapturing that 50% retracement, right? At this 412 area, 412.30, which I've already been talking about. We were talking about that 411.30 here also, you know, just a few minutes ago. And that here you can see very nicely is the base that we broke out of right before. So this is certainly an idea under this 412, certainly is an idea to get, you know, to be in the short. But really, if we break this structure that we broke out of on that Wednesday's end of day squeeze, I'll just draw the line. I'll draw the price here so you can see it. Right, the highs of these wicks, right, which was kind of the shift in the structure in the market. Oh man, I go to draw my price level and it just goes back to the other cursor. Come on. Oh boy. You know, I still have my broker open from today. And I think that it's usually better for me to restart it before I re-record these. So I do apologize. How long are we going so far? 14 minutes. All right, I gotta finish it up here. All right, but I hope you can see this base, right, that we broke out of. Okay, that's the main thing, and I hope you can see it all in this area, right in here, and it lines up very nicely here with this hourly POC. So breaking that structure that we broke out of, then we'll be looking even more bearish in my opinion, and we could look for further sellers to come in. But really, I'm going to be maintaining that loose bullish bias as long as we hold the 50% retracement, and then the last line of defense is going to be right here with that market shift. So that's what I'll be watching for sure. Market selling off just a little bit here in after hours, but nothing really to talk about, just kind of chopping around and not really doing anything, so that's fine. Now, ideally what I would have wanted to see, and we didn't get a confirmation and a close over it, and I think I posted about this on my Twitter at the close. If you guys aren't following me or want to check out my Twitter feed, there is of course, a connect with me in the notes here, but underscore at Shark Trader on Twitter, and you can also follow along there as well, where I'm posting usually during the day in real time and stuff like that. But I wanted to see a close, an hourly close, and that's why sometimes over these key levels I like to at least wait 30 minutes to an hour to see if they actually confirm. We were talking about that test, right, coming into this point on Thursday, this base right here, but we couldn't close over it. Okay, so that's we're kind of getting back into today's range, unfortunately, and that also again could lead into that trickier price action that we were talking about for tomorrow coming into the long weekend. So that could be a little bit tricky, but let's see. Once we get back over 414.35, 40 area, okay, then we're going to be again looking for more upside, right, in the markets. So let me go here to let me actually find who the hell is. Oh, okay, here it is. Cool. All right, so we were talking about, and this was just for intraday. This is the hourly chart, so it's a little harder to see, but I'll go over this really quickly. We kind of went over our bullish plan, our bearish plan already, so everything is pretty much mapped out. But I just wanted to show you guys something that I did today for one of my trades, and hopefully it can help you. Okay, so I took 2 options trades today. Didn't do much futures. I did a little bit, but I was having some issues with Trade-Evade, so I didn't really get to do much. But I did do 2 options plays. I think one was for about 40%. The other one went just over 100%, 107, something like that. On Friday's expiration. I don't really play 0 days too much anymore, only under certain circumstances. But anyway, here's the range that we were trading in, right, before we had this pop here. So 415 area, 414, 73, and then down here 412, 412.50, right? So this was kind of the range we were working with, right? And for me, I like to take about a 50% retracement of that range, and then for me, I use that as a pivot. Usually, when you're in a chop type of day, range type of day, you're usually looking to long towards the bottom of the range and then short towards the top of the range, right? And that's all well and good, but I do like to kind of go and make a 50% retracement of that range, 50% line, and then I can kind of use that as a kind of a reference. Okay, if we're under that 50% line, then we're more likely to come in and retest the bottom of the range, right? And certainly if we break below, right, come back up and back test it, that can be a short opportunity to have us come down to the bottom of the range. And then, sure, you don't have to catch every wiggle, and I don't recommend it. But then when we come into the range, you get out of your short and you go long, and you take your first exit right back at the 50% retracement. And then if we get through, we're looking for the top of the range, right? Okay, so and then it would just be the opposite for the short trade. right? So we had come up. This was my first trade I took down here in the morning, and we got up here. So it was basically that. I took the bottom of the range, and I took some off half here, and then I took off most here, and then I got stopped out here when we started to break down a bit. So then I was just waiting. I missed this trade, but I noticed, and I posted about this on Twitter, that we were coming into that midway point, right? Right around this 413, 45, 50 zone, right? And this is where I initiated my second position that I did that went the 100 over 100%, and took the long here on 415 calls, and then boom, right when we were coming right out of lunch, right, kind of a flag formation and 50% retracement, and I went for it, and boom, we came up, and it was looking good. And then we got that final squeeze right there where I took off most of the profits, and that was great. And then pretty much everyone started selling, and I was holding on to one even after this, but then it started breaking down, and I got out. But that was a really nice trade, and I hope that this kind of range halfway point can help you, because I do like it, and yeah, so that was pretty much it. But you can even see here that we can talk about this range. If this is broken, we'll be looking more for even more selling, and if this is actually holding over, then we'll be looking for these higher targets, potentially up here into the 416 again, 416.30s, and maybe close to 417. So that's about it. Sorry about the long video, 20 minutes. I appreciate everyone that's made it this far in the video, and yeah, take care. I wish you guys a great Memorial Day and safe trading tomorrow. Again, watch out for that lower volume, trickier potential price action coming into the long weekend. So unless we see some crazy circumstances, it's going to be light on the gas for me. But maybe we'll get a Friday trendy. You never know. So, all right, take care and have a good one.